Thank you and good morning, everybody. Today's news conference is about Project Siphon, and Project Siphon is a joint forces operation involving a criminal organization operating across the Greater Toronto Area. They engage in, probably the largest single gang shooting in Ontario with over 140 rounds, broad daylight.
A hail of non-stop gunfire sends many fleeing from the parking lot of this Darcel Avenue complex on the evening of September 14th, 2019.
3 other victims who were in the group congregating at the rear of the building were also struck by gunfire.
3 others were also hit, one fatally.
Welcome to 416 Street Talk. In this video we will be talking about the Brampton and Mississauga gang known as New Money So Sick Gang or NMG and SSG. New Money So Sick Gang was in the making around the 2010s by men from Mississauga and Brampton. The head of the gang was Mahmoud Al-Ramahi, who is a drug kingpin, and a few other guys who also worked with him. At the time it was a small drug operation by these men and it was not as big as today. They sold cocaine, pot and other drugs throughout the Greater Toronto Area. In 2011 most of these guys you see here were put behind bars for drug trafficking and attempted murder, but the men would be released with more connections, and that's when the gang grew, with teens and young men being recruited by the gang in low-income areas, and the operation was all about money. The members would also start making rap videos. No Face is a rapper of New Money So Sick. He made a rap song about the struggle, paying respects to dead and locked up members of New Money So Sick, but also dissing his rivals.
And you can't tell me about the struggle, kid. Let me tell you about all them nights that I was struggling. OT, I was hustling, and I got it out the mud. Fuck, I handle, cause the nigga never gave me shit.
It's unknown what gang they were beefing during 2015 to 2021, but it was most likely a Crip gang in Brampton or Mississauga. But the war was getting deadly, and during 2015 to 2020 multiple members would be killed from each side. Most of these cases weren't solved, but the gang made the news from 2018 to 2020. September 14, 2019, just before 6:30 p.m. members of a rival gang were making a music video behind an apartment complex located Darcel Avenue near Goreway Drives. That's when 2 vehicles drove slowly and stopped near the crowd. 7 men armed with guns hopped out and started shooting their guns while the 2 vehicles turned around ready to flee. "141 shell casings were located at the scene and 6 members of the rival gang were injured, but an innocent Jonathan Davis, a grade 12 student who was being picked up by a family member at the time, ended up getting shot and killed in the shooting with 2 other innocent people." The community who lived in the building said there was an ice cream truck present in the housing complex during the shooting and many children were outside playing but ran inside for cover. The 2 vehicles were found burned out in Caledon, and on July 16, search warrants were executed by homicide detectives in connection with the September 14 shooting. 19-year-old Safer Ahmed of Mississauga was arrested and has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder. On July 19, a second male suspect turned himself into officials. Brampton resident Yavon Valdez, 21, has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and unauthorized possession of a firearm. The other 5 men were never found. 1 month later, a car stopped on a red light in Mississauga and Giovanni Delahaye, a 28-year-old Brampton man, was killed and 3 others were injured. It's believed he was a customer of the gang who owed money to them because of their pot service. On August 31 around 3:45 p.m. there was a shooting at Brampton Memorial Gardens, on Chincozy Road. members of New Money So Sick were there to celebrate a dead member's birthday. Briton Francis Edwards, 23, also known as French, was shot dead outside a nightclub in 2016, and his killing was never solved, but he was a member of New Money So Sick, while they were celebrating his birthday near the tombstone. Rival gang members started firing at 3 men, who were found with gunshot wounds in different locations. 1 man was found nearby and transported to a trauma center, a 2nd man was discovered at a fire hall, but the 3rd man walked into a Brampton hospital bleeding. All these 3 men were in New Money So Sick gang, and online you could find tributes to French, who was killed in 2016. The leader of New Money So Sick survived a shooting on October 29, 2020. Members of a rival gang went to his home, north of Toronto, and started firing at his car, but he reversed and drove away. He ended up escaping. In November of 2020, police started cracking down on the gang after a black market pot service was discovered in Brampton and Mississauga, 88 people being arrested and over 800 charges being laid, including all the leaders being arrested. The operation was called Project Siphon. 600 officers carried out search warrants across Brampton and Mississauga. $1.5 million in cash was seized and $2 million in drugs, and an additional 34 guns were seized. This just shows the story of what happens when a gang is let back into the streets, causing innocent people's lives and communities in danger.